today I have Miss Shelley McMillan, and I'm going to ask her a few questions. Can you tell me a little bit about your job description and your organization?
So I'm the CEO of Rock Solid. We do kids camps, after school programs, kid fit programs, and run city pools. So my job description, I oversee the budget process, I oversee the management of staff, and I do a lot of programming. So, and then along that lines, do a lot of community engagement, community collaboration, speaking, team building, things of that nature.
Who is responsible for the budgeting process, and what policies are associated with budgetary decision making within that organization?
I'm responsible for the overall budgeting. As far as the decision making, I have an administrator that the two of us together, work on the budgeting. However, we kind of try to make each department responsible for their own budget. So after school program, you've got to be able to justify to me why we need these things and how it fits within a budget.
Yes, how often is the budget revised, and what type of input does the budget manager collect from the department heads within this organization?
I would say that we probably redo the budget about every 3 months. And because you are trending based on the numbers that you bring in of, kids and potential swimmers, and as far as the input, I mean, every manager of their department has a very thorough input, but I would say my administrator probably carries the greatest weight because she oversees the fundraising process, which is a direct reflection of how each budget's going to look. I mean, if I give a kid a subsidy, we've got to come up with that money some way to match the budget up.
Right. All right. Do all employees have access to this budget information?
All full-time employees do.
Right. How are budget figures derived from year to year?
The number of participants that enroll in programs and the percentage of donations that we had the previous year averaged out with what we hope we get the next year.
What do you believe are the 3 most important facets associated with the budget process, and how do y'all communicate these tenets to others in the organization?
Well, I think for us, the 3 most important thing in our budget process is, number 1, what kind of revenues are you bringing in? And with that is attached, what kind of work are we doing here to create those budget numbers out in the community? Second, I would definitely say, your expenses. Are we buying things that we need, or are we buying things that we want? Because there's a fine line, but a big difference in what those 2 things are. And I think third, in a budget process, is educating your staff. Because if they don't know a little bit about your budget, they don't understand why we don't want to buy the $5 a roll of paper towels. But to invest and engage our employees in that process helps them buy in.
Right.
So those would definitely be the top 3.
Ultimately, who in the organization must be accountable for the budgeting process?
I am definitely accountable for the budget, hands down, 100%.
What technological application is used, and what software do y'all use?
We use Quicken.
Okay.
We use QuickBooks for nonprofits. Okay. And I am an old schooler, so we have a CFO who actually does our financials, but I'm an old schooler, so I also refer back to my good old Excel spreadsheets. I like to see it listed. So
are there any problems with using this application? Have there been any problems that y'all run into? What
we find, and probably something that's delayed our budgeting process a little bit, is the congruency between what you put on your computers here in our office and what someone is inputting in QuickBooks. So, for example, I might not be able to give you the exact dollar amount via QuickBooks that swim programs are bringing in unless my CEO takes exceptional detail to the input. So that's something. I think that would be a better situation is if you put a kid in a computer and it just all it all collaborated with each other amidst your software. It doesn't happen.
Well, I think that's it. Thank you, Michelle.
No problem.